Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another review. This time we have Paladin. And let's get right into it. So the first card is the Badlands Bandits. 6 mana, legendary spell. Get 8 free 2 bandits with bonus effects. Any that can fit in your hand are summoned instead. And these effects are the same ones as we have seen multiple times in the past, in the future, in the present. Yeah, this card just sucks, to be honest. I feel like it's just 1 star in both modes. Maybe in arena it's like, oof. Even in arena, like it's so bad. I don't know. Like in arena you probably have like maybe four cards in your hand. Then maybe it summons 2 free 2s with random effects. I guess in arena is probably the best out of the free modes. So in arena, I guess it's 2 stars, but in the other 2 it's 1 star. I feel like they switched the effect or made it cheaper, then maybe we could be talking, but at this point it's just a worse party up, I think. Next up, 3 mana, 3/4 Undead Beast, Spirit of the Badlands. Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, get a permanent Mirage. Mirage is a spell that says at the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion in your deck, and this stays in your hand. This card is obviously insane in all the no duplicate decks. You play it in Wild, you play it in Standard. This card is just great, because it means you can get potentially 1 card multiple times. I mean one minion multiple times, which is great, because you in a Reno Paladin you play a lot of value minions. So yeah, this card is just great. Of course, it has an issue where you can get like a minion that costs like 9-10 mana or is expensive, and you can play this turn, but then you can just play another card in your hand, and it has issues. Like if you have no cards in your deck or minions in your deck, obviously this card stops working. I believe it could start working again if you play like Kazaku-san, for example. So yeah, I like this card a lot. It feels like, again, it's not the garbage legendary like the other one, the previous one. So I would just give this one a solid 4 stars in both modes. And in arena, it's alright again. So I would give it 3 stars in arena. Showdown, 2 mana, both players summon free outlaws. Give yours rush. Outlaws are just basic freeze for 3 mana, and yours are going to have rush. This card feels like a garbage in Standard, but in Wild you can do some shenanigans with the 5 mana spell from Blackrock Mountain. I can't remember the name. And the Drakes that get cheaper for each minion that died this turn. So if you play this Hunter too, you can summon potentially 2 6/4s with two 6/4s dragons, and you can draw 4 cards potentially. And you can even play like the 4 mana free freeze that get cheaper for each card played this turn. So that's a ton of stats. Even you can actually even coin it on turn 1. There are for sure going to be some highlights with this card in Wild. So in Wild, it's probably 3 stars. In Standard, it's honestly just I just don't see it. Even with the aura effects, I just think in Standard is just 1 star. And in arena, like what? Why would you pick this card? I mean, of course you can value trade, but they can just while you trade again. I don't know. I just don't see this card being played in Arena. So in Arena it's 1-star again. Or as well. 10 mana for 6 elemental. Living Horizon. Town, Divine Shield, and cost 1 less for each other card in your hand. This card is weird because it can get below 1 mana unless you play the audio amplifier, the mech, no neutral one. Yeah, this card just feels too slow for Paladin. I just feel like you want to play other cards, and it's not worth to keep minions in your hand. And Paladin usually wants to play as many minions as possible in the early game. So this feels like a missed opportunity to give this card, for example, to Warlock. I would just straight up give this card just as a 1-star in both modes, honestly, in Standard and Wild. And in Arena, maybe 2 stars, but I'm probably a little bit too optimistic again. Because this card feels like a garbage. For Paladin, at least. 3 mana, Deputization Aura. It's a holy spell. Your leftmost minion has +3 attack and lifesteal. It lasts 3 turns. This is interesting because you can keep, for example, trading, and each time you trade, the leftmost minion gets the buff or the aura effect. So that's nice. You can play it on charge minion. I mean, you can cast this, then you can play charge minions, rage minions. You can trade multiple times. In Wild, you can play it with the 3 mana, or you can 2-trade with the 3 mana Lightforged Crusader. No, that's probably another card. I can't remember the name. The 3 mana 3/1 minion that draws a 3 or less cost spell from your deck, and it costs 0 this turn. So you can play it with that one and tutor this aura effect or aura card. So that's something, I guess. But other than that, I mean, it's interesting for sure, but not sure how playable it is. So I would probably give it 2 stars in Wild and Standard. Maybe actually 3 stars in Standard, because it's still lifesteal, and you can trade with some other effects and keeps you alive. It's annoying against aggro decks. So I have 2 stars in Wild and 3 stars in Standard. And in Arena it's probably 3 stars again. Because you want 1 HP, you want to trade, and you want to give your minions attack. That's fine. 2 mana, Lay Down the Law. It's a holy spell. It has tradable. Set minions attack and health to 1. Quick draw, then deal 1 damage to it. This is similar to all the effects like we have seen in the past, like Lighted Burns. There's, I believe, this exact card for 2 mana in Wild. I'm not sure how it's called. I think it's from Savers of Uldum, but it doesn't have the tradable and it doesn't have the quick draw. So obviously this one is straight up better in power creep, but it's alright. It's going to see in Reno decks, it's going to see in control decks. So I would give this one straight up 3 stars in both modes, maybe 4 stars in Standard. It's probably not that great in Wild, but in Standard I feel like you play it in all the control Paladin decks or Reno decks. And in Arena it's probably a good pick, so I would give it 4 stars in Arena. 2 mana, 2/1 dragon, Hi-Ho Silverwing. Divine Shield, Dead Rattle, draw a whole spell. It's a dragon. Not sure if I said that already or not. I think this card is super good. It's like a shielded minibot that draws you a hollow spell. and it's a dragon, so it has dragon's energy. Here you have all the holy spells. There are some good ones that you can get. Like you can tutor equality, for example. That's a good one. You can tutor the lay down the law. You can tutor the boogie down, so you can play it on turn 3, potentially consecration or Steel of Blood. Yeah, Hand of Adal. There are some good applications with this card. I would give this one straight up 4 stars in both modes, and in Arena it's amazing as well. So 4 stars across all the modes, to be honest. Prismatic Beam. Well, this card they want you to play it with Showdown, but I don't know how good that is, but it's probably playable in Wild actually against Even Shaman, in Standard against some Swarm decks, Token decks. Yeah, I think this card is playable. I forgot to read the text. Prismatic Beam, 7 mana, deal 3 damage to all enemies, cost 1 less for each enemy minion. Yeah, this card feels playable. It's probably like 3 stars in Wild, 4 stars in Standard, maybe 3 stars. No, it's 4 stars, it has to be 4 stars. Because even if you cast it for like 3 mana, it's better Consecration. So it has to be 4 stars in Standard. And probably 4 stars in Arena as well. Because dealing with an enemy's board for kinda cheap mana is always great. Holy Cowboy, 3 mana for free. Battlecry, your next holy spell costs 2 less. Again, you have all the holy spells, as you can see. This card is great because it means you can bank it for any next turns. So you can play, like, for example, this card on free, and then you can coin Immortalized in Stone, I guess, in Standard, which is not that bad, all things considered. Or you can play like Sunwell for cheaper, and then you have a full hand, and then you can play the other cards. No, I'm just joking, but this card is alright. So again, you can play it in Reno, you can play it in Control. So yeah, I would give this card like 3 stars. 3 stars in both modes. Or actually 3 stars in all the modes. I don't think it's meta defining, but mana cheat is always scary. Actually maybe 4 stars in Standard, because you can do some nasty stuff in Standard, I feel like. What is it? No, it's 3 stars in all the modes. I lied. But mana cheat is always scary. And the last one, which is 5 mana, 1/5, Lawful Long Arm. It has Rush and Lifesteal, and Battlecry, gain +1 attack for each card in your hand. This card feels really great in all the Reno decks, Control decks, because even if you have 4 other cards in your hand, it's a 5/5 that heals you for 5 and potentially maybe for another 5. You can hand buff it. You can tutor it and some other stuff. With Bannerman, for example, in Vault. So I think this card is going to see a lot of play in both modes, and in Arena especially. So I would give this one like 3 stars in Wild. Probably 3 stars in Standard because it doesn't have a tribe. And in Arena, it's straight up 4 stars. So yeah, that's all the Paladin cards. I like some of them. I like Showdown and Vault. I like these 2 cards a lot. Like, Paladin has some good stuff, but I feel like these 2 cards, the hand stuff, are just unplayable at the moment, and probably in the future as well, unless they get some sick support. So these cards are probably bad. The rest is playable. across all the modes. I kinda like Paladin. I like that they got a cheap dragon. I like Dragon Paladin a lot. And I like Lefty stuff. I like Reno decks. Yeah, I like Paladin. What do you think, guys? Tell me in the comments and see you in the next video.